Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Hero House Reviews. Today we are looking at a very anticipated figure of mine, the Endgame wave of Better A Bill. Now, straight up, packaging, usual thing, 5 out of 5, well on display. He's got his neat little name there, and then you can't really see the figure himself in the plastic. But he is looking glorious. He only comes with Stormbreaker as an accessory, but then he's a big, intricate figure, so that is excusable. He comes with 2 Hulk heads for the Build-A-Figure Hulk. Again, useless if you're not getting the Build-A-Figure. Nice and essential if you are getting the Build-A-Figure. His hammer is a lot bigger than the old figure, so that's kind of cool, because like, you imagine Stormbreaker as a big, impressive thing, especially since not Thor Ragnarok, didn't appear in that. Avengers Infinity War, yeah. Especially since the cinematic Stormbreaker, I guess we'll call it. So yeah, the hammer's all Bill really needed, and considering his size and the detail of his sculpt, you wouldn't expect them to jam it in with any more accessories, and they included the accessory that was necessary, and they've done a really good job looking at it. So I'm gonna say packaging and accessories 5 out of 5. I will open him up, and then we'll go from there and see if the articulation and everything else holds up. One moment. Alright, and our most glorious horse god is free. He is big, he is impressive, the hammer, it is big, it is impressive, and they've really detailed the axe section. Like, made it really distinctly an axe, which visually makes it so impressive to see, because the dichotomy of the huge-ass hammer side, the sharp, and it is sharp, I like nearly cut myself getting out of the packet, axe head is just fantastic. And the whole figure overall is just fantastic. I mean, Bill has such unique design, and this isn't his classic costume, it's his modern look, which is a lot simpler than his old look. And I'm not sure I like it as much, but this figure has much better posability than the old figure. You know, maybe his old costume made it too restrictive, but I think it's just, you know, updates in technology that have allowed this, but he moves so well, he can bring his arms sort of flush to his sides. His pauldrons, or, you know, shoulder guards, do limit his upward arm mobility, but not to any great extent. And his legs are very free to move. The cape looks fantastic. The helmet looks good. Yeah, so I think this is a solid update of the Bill figure, a long overdue update of the Bill figure. His skin color, I think, suits him better now. He was a bit yellow in his old look. I'll do a comparison photo of them along the line, but as you can see, he stands quite well despite the rather heavy cape. Oddly enough, I think it's Stormbreaker itself which balances out the cape, so if you've got him holding that, he should be fine to stand on his own. He is quite big, as I've said. Here he is next to Union Jack from the same wave, who himself is fairly tall, because then you will bring in the Hydra agent from the Captain America 10-year anniversary, and you can see Bill positively dwarfs him. He's just a big dude, he's a broad dude, which is suitable. I think he's meant to be marginally taller than Thor himself, who is like one of the taller Avengers, who's not, you know, a giant. So yeah, he's got a good amount of size to him, he's got good posability to him, and he looks great. Do I want to say 5 out of 5 for this? Maybe a 4.5 out of 5 at the moment. And then I'll take some pictures and see if I get that sort of wow factor, because Union Jack, he boosted himself up by just being very photogenic and fun to pose. So at the moment, Bill is great, but we'll see if he is fantastic in a moment. Let's see the pictures. One sec.
Look at my horse is amazing, give it a lick. Have a stroke of its mane.
Alright, and there you have it. I've got them side by side again for a comparison point, and basically you can see this Bill has a smaller face, well, shorter face, which still looks quite menacing and impressive. This Bill has a much longer face. In fact, his whole proportions, he's generally longer and doesn't look quite as human, but then Marvel Legends figures had weird proportions back then. So this Bill definitely has him, you know, the new Bill definitely has him in terms of articulation and the actual body being more accurate and sort of, I don't know, realistic. But this Bill still has its own charms. I mean, yes, this Bill has the better hammer. New Bill has the better hammer to an extent. This one looks like Stormbreaker was drawn in the early appearances. I mean, this update is more like a far more modern look for the hammer itself. So this was still accurate at the time the figure was made. And it's still quite nice. I mean, the whole it being a small mallet thing is kind of like a ongoing joke in the Thor comics of like Loki messed with the handle to make it a smaller hammer than it should have been. And I kind of like that that was continued into Stormbreaker itself. This Bill still stands up. Old Bill is an amazing figure from the time it was produced. You can see how dynamic his costume is, the sheer level of sculpting that went into it. So his weird proportions and less articulation, he's still by no means a bad figure. In fact, he's one of the best Marvel Legends ever produced, as far as I'm concerned. New Bill is a fantastic update. He gives you everything you want in the modern interpretation of the character. And they kept, what I love that they kept is the hinge jaw, so you can open up his mouth like you could the old figure, which again, for some reason, just adds a whole new level of intrigue interposing him, because you can have him appearing so much more energetic, because you can have him screaming as he's about to, throw a hammer or something like that. It's just a really neat little addition and goes with Bill's sort of alien physiology. They're exploiting an element of the character to make the figure more dynamic, and that principle should be applied to every figure as they go forward. And to all areas of life. Take advantage of what's there and make, the best of what you can. So a really solid figure, and I will go for a 5 out of 5. I have no complaints about this Bill. He's got great proportions, as evidenced standing here. The costume isn't, my personal opinion, Bill's best costume, and I'm hoping they take him back to the classic costume one day and we get him with this level of articulation and detailing and proportions in his classic costume one day. But for now, I'm very happy with the Bills we have from Marvel Legends, and I'll be happy to have them side by side as brothers in arms on a shelf. So, good work, Marvel Legends. 5 out of 5 figure. And yeah, basically that's it for the review. If you want to see more, we have plenty. We have the as yet unnamed fighting segment, and we also have Hero House, where you can see the action figures in action. It is a good time, and I suggest you check it out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. All the best, and I'll see you again. Bye.